Good evening. Tonight's Kingsburg City Council regular agenda for April 2nd, 2025. We're going to begin with invocation by Councilmember Laura North, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. If you please stand.
Dear Lord, thank you for this opportunity for us to come together and honor you and make decisions for our city. I'd like to ask your protection over our first responders, police, and fire. I'd also like to ask for your protection and guidance over city staff and the council as we make decisions. Please be with the Chamber of Commerce as they are headed into a busy season of festivals. Help the planning to go smoothly, and thank you also for the rain, and please protect us as we head into spring break and travels for people in our community. In your name we pray, amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We'll call this meeting to order. Madam Clerk, can we get a roll call, please?
Present.
Here.
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 Here. First is approving tonight's agenda. Entertain motions.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Next is presentation and informational reports, of which we have none, so we will move on to public comment. This provides an opportunity for members of the public to address the City Council on items of interest to the public within the Council's jurisdiction, which are not already on the agenda this evening. It is the policy of the Council not to answer questions impromptu. Speakers should limit their comments to not more than 3 minutes. For items which are on the agenda this evening, members of the public will be provided an opportunity to address Council as each item is brought up for discussion. Do we have any members of the public that would like to come up and talk about anything that's not on the agenda? Okay, seeing none, we will close public comment and move on to the consent calendar. Items on the consent calendar are considered routine and include a recommendation from staff and shall be acted upon in one motion by council. If a council member requests additional information or would like to pull an item for discussion, that item shall be pulled from the consent calendar and acted upon separately. A motion to approve the consent calendar is deemed to include a motion to waive a full reading of any ordinance or resolution on the consent calendar. On tonight's consent calendar, we have items 1 through 4. Do we have any council members that would like to pull a consent item?
I would like to pull item number 1.
Okay. Do we have any other items that would like to be pulled? Do we have any items that staff or the public would like to pull from consent? Okay, so we will entertain a motion for 2, 3, and 4.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, we'll move on to item 1, the approval of the City Council minutes from the regular council meeting on March 19th. Councilmember Silva.
So just to clarify, there was one correction that I wanted to accurately reflect on the council member reports. Under my name, it was stated Planning Commission met last week, and agenda item was the Sinclair gas station, also attended the chamber dinner. I wasn't at the chamber dinner, and the Planning Commission, I believe, was Vince. So I think that sentence right there should just go under Pro Tem Mayor Palomar. So it's a small item, but I just wanted it to be accurately reflected. So that's the only change I had to the minutes.
Okay. Do you have any council discussion or members of the public that would like to discuss the minutes? Okay, seeing none, we'll entertain a motion to approve item 1 with those recommended changes.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Now we will move on to our regular calendar. Item number 5 is an all-way stop warrant analysis on Draper and Smith. Staff report by City Engineer Dave Peters. Thanks, Dave.
Good evening, we're here tonight to talk about the performance of a
always stop control warrant analysis at, is that not working? Is that not working?
It's like,
That sounds great.
Unless you're an alien, we have.
See, I get that a lot. So. Is that better? Okay. So tonight we're going to talk about the analysis and the conclusions of an always stop control warrant analysis that was performed at Draper and Smith Street. Back on May 3rd of 2023, the council approved a policy for installation of stop signs. First thing that happens in that policy is we receive a request from a citizen or staff to perform a warrant study. So we did receive a request in January of this year for a warrant study at this intersection. We subsequently met at the Traffic Safety Committee to consider the merits of that request, and it was recommended that the warrant study be performed. So we moved forward and completed the warrant study in March. And if a four-way stop is to be installed at the location, the California Vehicle Code has required that the City Council pass a resolution as such. Some characteristics of the intersection. Both streets are 76 feet wide. They each have one lane in each direction, each have diagonal parking. There's also curb extensions, so the little curb pop-outs in each corner to reduce the distance that pedestrians have to cross the street in the crosswalk. Those exist at all four corners and have landscaping or other landmarks inside the curb extensions, as you can see in that picture. And the two intersections on either side of Draper and Smith are always stop control. So Draper and Smith currently is just a minor street two-way stop control. So no stops on Draper, but stops on Smith. So we were looking at the merits of installing an always stop. Go to the next one. I wanted to point out before we move on to the numbers that with the curb extensions and landscaping and the landmarks that are in the curb extensions, there is some obstruction of the sight distance for vehicles that are on Smith Street. So coincidentally, vehicles routinely will inch out into the intersection to try to get a better vision down the street to see if it's clear to enter the intersection or not. So they don't always stay behind the crosswalks. A lot of times they'll inch out into the intersection and subsequently block the crosswalk. Next slide. So the California Manual on Uniform Traffic Control Devices spells out the warrants that must be met before an always stop is installed. A couple others, such as it's allowable to use an always stop as an interim measure if you're planning to install a traffic signal. Five or more reported crashes in a 12-month period, and the state accident reporting website, Switters, did not have any accidents. It requires that you have at least 300 vehicles per hour entering the intersection from both major street approaches. So that it's all the vehicles entering the intersection on Draper from each direction has to be at least 300 vehicles per hour for a continuous 8-hour period. So that warrant is met. To actually enter the intersection and make movements because there are so many vehicles on Draper. The other warrant, and so these warrants need to be, 1 and 2 have to be met together. So the first part, C point 1 is met. C point 2
You have to have at least 200 combined vehicle, pedestrian, and bicycles per hour entering from the minor street. So that one is not met. That's not even met for 1 hour. 300 and the 200 by 20% if the street speed exceeds 40 miles per hour, which it does not. So in terms of volumes, the warrants for traffic volumes are not met to justify installation of an all-way stop. So next slide. But there are some other criteria that the Manual on Uniform Traffic Control Devices does allow you to consider in the study. The need to control left turn conflicts, we do not think that applies at this location. The need to control vehicle pedestrian conflicts near locations that generate high pedestrian volumes, and they're talking about hundreds of people per day, so that one's not met. Locations where a road user after stopping cannot see conflicting traffic and is not able to negotiate the intersection unless conflicting traffic is also required to stop. So that one is met. And then lastly, consideration of an intersection that's in a residential neighborhood, which this is not met. So based on all of those warrants, go to the next slide. We are recommending that based on primarily on the sight distance obstruction and then secondarily on the high volume of traffic on Draper, that a always stop be installed at this location. If the council chooses to pass a resolution to do that, Public Works would install the 2 new stop signs. Public notification signage, similar to what you see on your screen, would be placed a couple weeks before the stop signs are put up to let everybody know that, hey, this is converting to an all-way stop. The cost to do that is about $1,000. Our Public Works staff would handle that. It's an additional $2,000, so for a total of $3,000, if you wanted to place electronic message boards or changeable message signs on each approach on Draper to kind of give a little bit more notification. After talking to the Public Works Director, we did not really feel like that was necessary at that cost, so we would recommend just the signage with the red flags on each approach. And again, if council chooses to approve this installation, it would occur in April. We would get the notification signage, like you see on your screen, up probably next week, and then a couple weeks after that, we would put the 4-way stop in. So with that, I can answer any questions you might have.
Questions from council? Questions for Dave? No? We'll throw it to the public then. Do you have any members of the public that would like to speak to council on this item? Okay, I'll take that as a no. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry, please, I couldn't see it. Yeah, come up. We ask everybody to come up to the mic just so everybody can hear it.
I don't know, but speaking as a citizen of this community that. My name is Craig Carpenter. I'm married to Leslie Carpenter. We own Berman's Flowers here in Kingsburg. Anyway, just from my experience, every day I come into town from work and stop by and see my wife at the flower shop. And when I leave there, I come down and turn left and pull up to this stop sign that we're in. And no matter, like he was saying, you kind of have to inch out because you can see pretty good right, but left, it's terrible. You can't. I'm in a lifted pickup too, and I still can't see over the cars that are parked in front of Gold Standard Mortgage there. So we definitely, I think, need it, and that's my opinion. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Just for anybody else, you don't have to give your specific marital status, as much as we did appreciate that. Do you have any other members from the public that would like to speak? Okay, we will bring it back to council for discussion. Councilmember North?
Yes.
I'm the one that requested this warrant. I've had a lot of different constituents, especially business owners downtown in that area. The owners of Bella Bakery, Casaro's, Steve Safarjan has also talked to me about it. And I also drive that multiple times a day, and especially by Gold Standard Mortgage, I would say probably at least twice a week feel like I'm going to get in an accident by inching out into the intersection by the time you can see both ways, like oncoming traffic is on you. So I'm the one that requested this, and I believe it's necessary.
Councilmember Smith?
Well, I would agree that something needs to be done there. It is. And because you do infringe on the crosswalks to be able to see, to get by that intersection safely, and that can be a hazard. I mean, it's surprising that there isn't a recorded accident there in a number of years, but I do think the safety for the pedestrians, I think it would be a good idea.
Councilmember Sullivan?
Thank you, Mayor Purcell. Yeah, so I've been addressed with this also. Why don't we have a stop sign there? And so I think that it is hard to see, and I found myself inching out into the crosswalk as well. So I understand all the points that are being made here. We already have one here on Draper. I think it complements that one also. And I've seen, I mean, I was just at Casaro's having pizza outside this week, and some people once they go towards the high school, they race towards the high school, and there's nothing to slow them down there, so to speak. So I think it would be good to slow traffic down in that intersection and look out for those pedestrians. So I'm in favor of it also.
Yeah, I myself have had almost got hit there one time on the Gold Standard Mortgage side. My only concern is that, the warrants aren't met. The warrant's not met, for accidents, and I know that being on Public Safety Committee, I've had a lot of calls about intersections where there are accidents. Right. I mean, I'm in favor of the stop sign, right, but I'm just, concerned about intersections in town where there has been accidents. There's one or two a year, and then you're going to get constituents that are going to say, well, you put a stop sign on Draper and Smith, why not here,
Right. So I guess my opinion would be that they are met. The warrants are met. They're met based on those other. If you want to back up one slide,
there's one out of like 4 or 5 met. Yeah.
Yeah, and you only have to meet one. You only have to meet one. So okay. I mean, what makes this meet the warrants is the item C up there.
Yeah, what I meant was the accident one.
Right.
Yeah.
And you don't have to meet.
I know. Yeah.
You don't have to meet all of them.
Right.
You just have to meet.
I understand.
One.
Yeah, I understand.
So I would just So that would be my response to that, is that we did an engineering traffic survey. I think it's in your packet, and the conclusion of that was that the warrants are met, sufficient to install if you choose to.
Yeah, I just meant maybe the accident one. Yes, that's what I was talking about.
I have a question on that, Dave, because I know there has been at least one accident there. I don't know what constitutes like recording it and reporting it.
Yeah, so that website, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, you have to have a like over $500 in damage or an injury, and then it gets put into that. If it's less than that, it's like a little fender bender.
I think it
may not make the cut to get into that database. So
I think that vehicle actually hit Gold Standard Mortgage.
Yeah, I don't know. I can, I mean that's the reporting site that we use, and so I couldn't address why that accident. Like I said, some of the minor ones, where it's just a paint scratch and they shake hands and drive away. Those don't ever make it in the database.
So it's not accurate then?
Well, it's accurate in terms of the, when it has to be reported into that system or not. Like I said, it was one missed. I don't know. I can't say that.
What was the cost to do the warrant? The warrant study?
It was about $1,000. Half of that was the traffic counts.
And if that stop sign is put in, is there going to be landscaping concerns? Is there going to be any additional things besides the cost of landscape? Are you going to have to go through and remove things that are there, cut back trees, anything like that?
Don't think so. I might call on Daniel to help answer that question. I didn't notice anything out there myself, but I know he's probably taken a closer look at that than I have. So.
Hi, Daniel.
Hey, how's it going? So Daniel Galvis, Public Works Director. So we've looked at both locations. Like I said, where they're going to be placed, they're going to be out in the ball belts, similar to the locations here on Marion and Draper. So no obstructions with trees. There may be some concrete cutting. There's also be some stenciling that'll happen behind the crosswalks, and some additional striping on some of the end parking stalls to not let cars park a little bit closer. But all of that will be taken care of with pre-programmed budget funds. So, like we have most of the supplies in hand. So, the 2 signs are being ordered, the pre-notification signs. And then we're also picking up some round poles because we typically don't install those outside of the downtown area.
So I have a couple concerns. We do meet the Uniform Traffic Control Device manual, minimally though. I just want to be clear that we do technically meet it. My only concern is we're going to start getting a lot of requests to put stop signs all over town because someone meets one of the small criteria. So I just want to kind of throw that out to council ahead of time that although doing this may be right, I'm really only in favor of it with this minimal criteria because it's on Draper downtown. Because we're going to get these requests in every neighborhood, in every single person who thinks someone's driving too fast by their house, and especially that are going to have more accidents reported than this. So I am in favor of it, but I'm only in favor of it because it's in a highly walked area in downtown. So just putting that out there.
I'll also mention that it's not a fast process because the first time that I talked to staff about this and requested it because of constituents asking was at least 7 years ago. So it wasn't a quick process where it just came quickly to us.
Thank you. Do we have any other comments on it?
I have one more.
Sure.
Chief and Lieutenant, maybe you could shed some light. Is a stop sign at that intersection detrimental to you guys doing what you need to do on a daily basis for emergencies? I mean, does it slow down response times, for example, or?
As far as the fire department, I don't think it will because we'll end up going opposing in traffic to get around the traffic that's there. And with our lights and sirens, usually people get out of our way. So I don't see it being a problem for us.
Thank you.
Yeah, I echo that. The same thing. They'll get out of the way for us if we need to get somewhere with lights and sirens.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other council discussion? No, we can entertain motions.
I'll make a motion. It's to approve the resolution. Is that what
It's going to be to, let me bring it up.
resolution's checked at the top?
Yeah, adopt resolution
Adopt.
2025-023.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Resolution passes. Next, we will move to item 6, the Kingsburg Dog Park renovation project update. Staff report by Community Services Director Adam Castaneda. Welcome, Adam.
Thank you. Good evening, Mr. Mayor and members of council. So tonight's first presentation is regards to the Kingsburg Dog Park project. Tonight's staff report will give you an update on the progress of the Kingsburg Dog Park renovation project funded by California Proposition 68. Back in January 2019, Community Services Commission and Council was presented a list of applications that we were working on to submit to the state for potential grant funding to renovate some of Kingsburg's existing parks or create new parks. Of that list, the top 4 were selected and an application was submitted for all 4. The state went through a competitive grant process and determined that the Kingsburg Dog Park project was the one that was going to receive the most grant points for the applications. And so we were awarded $1.244 million for the Kingsburg Dog Park project, all state funded. And as of March, we want to say that the project is almost completely complete. There are still a couple punch list items that we're working on. There was a request from the Community Services Commission through the process to add a small dog park area, fenced off area, that wasn't included in the grant funding, but Peters Engineering was able to make it work within the scope, and so that will be funded in addition with additional funds throughout this fiscal year, but it's not covered under the grant. But that's kind of one of the major pieces that's still kind of missing. Kingsburg Community Services Commission did a walkthrough not too long ago and deemed that the project was ready for its grand opening ceremony. So for the last 3 weeks, we've been working with members of the state, our local reps, to kind of schedule a grand opening and ribbon cutting ceremony, which we have now scheduled April 12th, which is a Saturday. 10 a.m. is the beginning of the ceremony. 10:30 is the ribbon cutting. So I'd like to invite all council to come and participate in this renovation project that the city has been working on for the last several years, and I think it's going to be well received by the residents and just those that are traveling up and down the 99. And included in the staff report, I do have some photo presentations if you haven't had a chance to go through and take a look at the park. There are some photos that I'd like to share with you just in regards to the new amenities that you can find at the park. Oh. Okay, so this right here will show you the restroom and shade structures at the entrance. You notice that the artificial turf at the entrance is also installed at the request of the commission and local public. It's a one-stall restroom that we'll have open. The park will be open regular operation hours, just like our regular parks, from dusk to dawn kind of setup. The second photo shows you some recreational agility obstacles for our pets to go out there and enjoy. Those you'll see throughout the entire park. They kind of go around the walking track. And that replaced the play structure within the original application. The commission went a different route with it. This shows the walking track. It's about a quarter of a mile track around the park. Decomposed granite has gone all throughout, and then the solar lighting to light up the walking around it. We've had a chance to go through. Commission and I went through and did the walkthrough, and just nice. The trees will eventually grow out. The landscaping and the irrigation were installed, and so hopefully that grows out to be green and great, and I think the community is going to love going out there early mornings and even early evenings to go out there and walk their pets and enjoy the park. Again, just a couple more views. The second picture is the small recreational dog park area. It's missing the fencing, but essentially it has its own private entrance, dual entrance to go in and out. The fencing will go around the green area so that you can go park, take your small dogs there without them risking them running out or larger dogs already in the park running to them directly. So that's kind of a new addition. And again, just the park, it's about a 2-acre park. So I think the project is going to, again, be well received by the public. Couldn't have gotten here without the work of Peters Engineering, Public Works, and the Community Services Commission. So their work for the last 3+ years on the project. And even before my time here, this was a project that was kind of in the works. So it's nice to see that we're getting it finally complete. The ribbon cutting, again, April 12th. 10 o'clock, 10:30 is the ribbon cutting ceremony. We've partnered with Save Mart Supermarkets here in town. They're going to be providing the refreshments. And then Kingsburg Veterinary Clinic has also partnered to do a free vaccine and microchipping clinic that day too. And so it's just going to be a great day. And I'm happy to answer any questions you have. Last photo is the handicap parking stalls that were included in the project because we thought the public would utilize them. And again, that wasn't part of the original grant scope, but Peters Engineering and the staff made that work. So, with that, I'm happy to answer any questions you have, but I hope I see you out there on the 12th, and we'll get a ribbon cutting going and open it to the public. So, thank you.
Thank you. Do you have any questions for Director Castaneda?
You have a question, Adam. Did you say about vaccinations on that day?
Yeah, so Kingsburg Veterinary Clinic has partnered with us to do a free vaccine. It's a rabies vaccine and microchipping. City clerk and her staff will be out there doing licensing as well, so they'll be kind of in partner with the clinic, And so any resident of Kingsburg that needs to get their dog vaccinated or microchipped, they can come out that day, and we'll take care of it for them.
Okay, great, thank you.
Have any other questions? If not, we will open it up for public comment. Any members of the public like to speak to the dog park? Bring it back to council for final discussion or comments.
I'd just like to say thank you to the staff. I mean, it looks pretty amazing, and if I was a dog, I'd like running around there. So you're free. But anyway, no, thanks, guys. I really appreciate you doing this. I know it seems like a long time coming. So, and thank you for the grant. You know, it takes a lot of work on staff's part to reach out and meet the grant criteria. So I appreciate that as well.
Yeah, I think it looks really good. I don't have a dog, but I know my neighbors haven't been there yet, but they say they're going to take their dogs over there. So I'll get some feedback from them once they do. Let you know.
How much parking do we have there?
So originally there was no parking. People were parking around, kind of making their own parking. Right now there's 3 parking stalls. 2 are dedicated ADA, and then there's just 1 general parking stall.
2 handicap stalls and only
Correct.
1 regular stall?
Only 1 regular. And that fit within the space that the city owned.
In addition to the street parking.
And it did, gotcha.
Okay.
There is street parking along the, what is that, Laurel by the veterinary clinic.
And is there signage up there that has like a list of what would be rules, city rules? Are we putting signs up all over that thing so that people know
Yes,
when
so
they get
because
there?
it was a dog park before, the rules have stayed the same. The commission has, Community Services Commission has gone through to revise those rules to kind of see if there need any changes to be made. Nothing major, and then they will be out there that day handing out pamphlets for giving dog park etiquette and just the standard rules of how to, operate within dog parks. So. But yes, to answer your question, there are rules on the fence.
Awesome, thank you. The only last comment I have, because I've had quite a few people reach out about the cost of it. I just want people to understand, if they're listening at home, the way that this grant works is we put in for grants. That money is allocated to us. It's a competitive grant process, and that money either comes to Kingsburg for 1.22 and we get a dog park out of it, or it's going to go to Huron or Kerman. So this isn't like we decided, hey, we have 1.2 million extra dollars that we want to spend on the dog park. That's money that comes in that we only are spending because it came in from the state. So I just want to be clear, because it seems like there's a little bit of a misconception about us using our general fund dollars for this dog park, which we are not. I don't have any other, is this information only?
Information.
Awesome, thank you. Do you have any other comments?
Nope. Thanks, Adam.
Thank you. Move on to item 7, the Kingsburg Healthcare District Grant Cycle Project Proposal for 2025. Staff report by Community Services Director Adam Castaneda.
That's me. Well, thank you again. So the second agenda item I have for you this evening, Kingsburg Healthcare District opens their grant cycles every year. A couple of months ago, I came down and presented to you that the open window staff was going to work on a list of applications to present to you tonight on projects we could potentially submit grant applications to the healthcare district for. Working with staff, we went ahead and looked at the departments that originally or usually submit applications: police department, fire department, and community services. Because the fire and police have current grants and their needs are essentially being met by grants that have already been submitted by the 2024 cycle, which you see a list of them up there. The top 3 are the ones that we currently received from last year: the ambulance personnel, the comprehensive health exam for officers, and then the senior center hot meal program were the ones that we were awarded last year. And so with that, there won't necessarily be a list presented to council tonight. There is one from the Community Services Commission that I'd like to present to you and get your blessing to go ahead and submit an application. And it's for the Kingsburg Senior Center hot meal program, similar to one that we submitted for last year. Last year's grant was $55,000 that was given to the city of Kingsburg to help operate the Senior Center hot lunch program at the Senior Center. It covered supplies and food expenses for the overall program. They didn't want to cover any personnel expenses or any operational expenses that the city might have operating the Senior Center and the kitchen project. They wanted just to go ahead and support it through food and supplies. So with that, they gave us those funds. We're currently allocating those, or we're using those funds for this fiscal year. And program has been well received by all seniors so far. We started operating in December after the kitchen project was initially signed off by the healthcare district and the Fresno County Health Department to say that we can go ahead and operate out of that kitchen. So with that, included in the staff report, again, is just a breakdown. I'd be requesting from the healthcare district $55,000 to help cover the supplies and food purchasing for the meal program. The program takes a lot of not just general fund dollars or city dollars, but it also takes a lot of support from other local organizations. Last year, the healthcare district came in again at the 55. Larry Hillblum Foundation and the Kingsburg Senior Center kind of co-partnered to cover a portion, which is about $20,000 that covered their portion, and the city was responsible for the rest. Before, when we were utilizing the county programs, and we were paying about $99,000, $98,000 a year for their county-provided programs. And so we were able to kind of partner with local organizations and keep that number roughly the same for the city, adding an additional nutrition coordinator. So now we have 3 coordinators on site, providing fresh meals on site Monday through Friday, and it doesn't necessarily cost the city an additional amount with those partnerships. So it's vital that we kind of request these funds for the upcoming year, and hopefully they receive them. The senior centers already received their funding for the next fiscal year. They have it in hand. So they have their $20,000 to $25,000 in hand for the next fiscal year. So they're kind of excited. They had a fundraiser a couple weeks ago to kind of help get them to that goal. And so now they know that they're on board. The Larry Hillblum Foundation has come on board and signed a grant with them for the upcoming year. And so now it's just healthcare district and city to agree on and going forward with this application. So with that, I'm happy to answer any questions you have. Thank you.
I have a question. Does this include, it said hot meals, but I know that the breakfast is pretty popular also. Are we going to continue with that? And I know the healthcare.
Yes, so that is all that's sponsored through Kingsburg Senior Inc. And the healthcare district. At the beginning of this year, Kingsburg Senior Inc. presented the healthcare district requesting an extension of those funds, and they received it. So there is a hot and cold lunch breakfast program. 5 days a week, seniors can come in and get a free breakfast. They just come on in, have coffee and breakfast with us, and they're free to leave, or they can stay for the lunch program. But that's completely funded through Senior Inc. and the healthcare district. So we now have the 2 programs.
And just another thought, maybe, I don't know about this grant cycle, but maybe for the future, I know many of our seniors, these are their only meals, and I don't know if we've ever thought about expanding to a dinner.
I'd love to have that conversation. Obviously, it would require more staff, more operational hours for the senior center. This is a larger scope, but I like where you're thinking. So,
thanks.
Like questions for Director Castaneda? Any members from the public like to speak to this item? Seeing none, we'll bring it back to council for final discussion or motions for approval in the application of the proposed project. Motions?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
We have a first and a second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. We'll now move on to item 8, the Measure E legal contract. Staff report by, well, we're going to have to call an audible on this one since our assistant city manager is not here. We will just go straight to the city manager.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yes, she's not here this evening for good reasons, but she did help with the staff report. But I will take over the report. So this is a continued discussion regarding the council and the finance committee's previous direction to staff regarding the potential Measure E extension. This particular item, if you recall, we discussed on March 5th, 2025. Council directed staff to receive quotes from several law firms that specialize in election law to assist us with the potential Measure E renewal effort. Each quote that we received is for the following legal services, including establishment of a timeline, drafting of the measure, drafting the resolution and placing it on the ballot, preparing the impartial analysis for a city attorney to review, establish dates and create forms for primary and rebuttal arguments, review informational materials to ensure no advocacy is found, be available for questions from staff and our council related to the election process, and to coordinate with any other consultants that the council may wish to engage in the matter. So we received 4 quotes for legal services, all assuming, or they are approximate based upon hours assumed. They are from Best and Krieger, Finance DTA, Alshire and Winder, and Nielsen Merksamer. Staff recommends having the city manager execute an agreement for services with Best and Krieger, and the Finance Committee affirmed this recommendation during their March 24th, 2025 meeting. They've completed a conflict check and confirmed that they're able to represent the city in this matter, and an engagement letter that constitutes an agreement and the terms of their representation is included in your packet. Based upon a similar tax measure BBK assisted with during the November 2024 election, they estimate approximately 20 hours of the Director of Election Services time and approximately 10 hours of attorney partner time, which is what the quote of $10,000 represents. The agreement fee structure is based upon hourly billing rates, and the number of hours is subject to change depending upon the needs of the city. One other note is that BBK represents numerous clients, including those involved in water law issues that may be adverse or potentially adverse to the city in the future. It is possible that BBK may represent additional clients within or surrounding the city on water issues in the future, and they are not handling any matters adverse to the city at this time, but they may in the future, and therefore they have prepared a water waiver for the city to execute. So again, our recommendation this evening is to authorize the city manager to execute an agreement for election law services with BBK Law Firm, including the engagement letter and the advanced water waiver. That concludes my report, but I'm certainly happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Thank you. Questions from council?
I had a couple questions. Alex, has the city worked with this particular firm in the past?
Not in my time here, but BBK is pretty well known in the area, and particularly with municipal law. They often are one of the presenting law firms at California League of Cities conferences, so familiar with the firm, and did speak with some folks that have worked with them previously and recommended them.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Any other council questions for city manager? I'll open it up to public. Do we have any members of the public that would like to speak to this? Bring it back for any closing thoughts from council. I'm in favor of using BBK, but I do want to emphasize that we should be using Measure E dollars for all of this. I know that that is our initial legal council advice that we can at this point. I just want to move forward with doing that for as long as we can.
Sounds good.
Nobody has anything else, we'll entertain motions, which would be to authorize the city manager to execute the agreement to BBK, including the engagement letter and advanced water waiver.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Future agenda items, we have none, so we'll move on to the city manager's report.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, members of council, a couple of brief items. There's a ribbon cutting this week for the Mennonite Disaster Services on Friday morning. Adam mentioned briefly the Senior Center fundraiser. It sounds like they raised a little over $16,000 at their Cajun Shrimp Boil, so just kudos to Adam and everyone who assisted him with that event. It was a nice evening. And then finally, we held our Space Needs Assessment kickoff meeting yesterday with Integrated Designs. So we gave them some initial information, and they will be coming back with sort of a first layout, but there will be significant opportunity for council and the public to review that and essentially go back and forth on that design over the next several months. But just wanted to mention that we've started that process. That's all I have.
Thank you. Now we'll move to council member reports and committee reports, starting with council member North.
Bid met yesterday, and the main thing to bring to your attention is on May 1st, there's a Ladies' Night Out event. That date was changed. Previously, it was an April date, and it's a Bridgerton theme, Ladies' Night Out downtown. Chamber of Commerce, we're going to meet next week, and the only thing I was going to mention about the chamber was what Alex shared about the Mennonite disaster relief ribbon cutting on Friday morning at 10 at 2088 Ventura in the Business Park. Centerpoint will not meet until late April, and that's all I have.
Thank you, Councilmember Smith.
Yes, the Finance Committee met last week, and we discussed the Measure E, and we meet again on April 28th, and then the dog park grand opening that Adam mentioned, and the Community Services meets on April 23rd. That's it.
Thank you. Councilmember Silva.
Economic Development Committee has not met, nor has the South Kings GSA, so nothing to report out there. I will tell you that there is a car show committee meeting tomorrow night at the chamber at 6 o'clock for anyone that wants to attend that. So other than that, that concludes my report. Thank you.
Mayor Pro Tem.
Public Safety, we're scheduled to meet May 13th. Planning Commission, we're going to meet the 10th of this month. And SKF, we're also going to meet this month on the 16th. And then I'll have a report after those meetings.
Awesome. For COG and FCRTA, we met last week. There was really nothing to report. We're still looking for any member of the public that might like to sit on the Measure C oversight. They're looking for citizens to help with that. It's a real important measure, and I think they're looking for as many people from the community as they can. So if you guys have ideas, their ideal candidate is probably somebody under the age of 50, per their words. Sounds like they have plenty that are not. So if we do have somebody, especially younger people, that we can engage in this, because this project is going to, span well beyond our lives. So if you guys have anybody, reach out to me. We'll nominate them if it's still available. The only other thing that I had is just real quick for Adam and Daniel, just thank you guys. We see these projects come through a lot. Your guys' staff is great. I mean, something like you guys are just going to knock out the stop sign. You guys have knocked out the senior center stuff and the dog park. It's great. The city is run by staff, and you guys are just doing a great job. So I just wanted to take just a quick second to say thank you guys. And please pass on our thanks to staff. You guys are so easy to work with. Anytime we have an issue, everything's immediately addressed. We appreciate it very much. And that's all we have. We will adjourn tonight's council meeting. Thank you.